What other information?
Joe Budden nudes leak?
Oh,
Nobody
That
else
was
saw that.
Whoa.
That was literally on the news.
Where? What
Not the
news is
news.
this?
What news?
Not the news. Not the news, but like the neighbor. The neighbor is suing, and there was a leak of the photos.
Channel 11, nightly news.
I didn't see it. It was on what's that called again? It was on Yahoo or some shit. That the neighbors are suing him, and then for some reason I think the neighbors did it, obviously because they had the camera. They leaked the photos or whatever, and they're suing Joe Budden apparently again.
So you didn't just scroll the shade room and find these?
No, I don't think it was on Shade Room.
Most likely.
That's not where
Maybe.
you find your topics?
Some other shit.
Some of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I saw it up there.
Yeah, I'm cool.
If it's fake, then cool.
I had to do a lot of searching for that one.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Yikes.
I mean, then I won't look next week. No problem.
Nudes is not my thing, man. Pause.
I'm not. I didn't look for it. It just came up.
Nigga nudes is a wild.
All right.
I wasn't even to type that. Keep it a buck.
I didn't
right?
type it. It just came up.
Waste mine.
That's what.
Thumbs, waste mine.
Complain about these topics every fucking
Yeah,
week.
but you never type nigga nudes. I was saying,
But I
from
didn't
now
type
on-
them.
Hold on. You typed that? You typed this list? Nigga, I got the text.
I understand, but what I'm saying is I didn't go searching for that. It was a topic that
And
came
then
up.
you typed nigga nudes and sent it to
So
what
so
you
we
gonna
didn't.
check.
Wait, hold on. So we didn't cover this and discuss it when it happened the first time.
What, nigga nudes? Nah.
No, when Joe Budden was like streaking and running around nude in front of ladies' camera. We didn't discuss that already?
I don't remember the
We didn't just spend.
Nobody
like,
looks for the photos to say nude
No one
leak.
looked for the photos. All right, man. All right, no problem.
Bump it
I-
up.
I got you.
Burn. You feel played because
Yo,
you found a nigga nude.
No. Let's fast forward to next week. Ask me about the topics next week.
Yeah, no, just
That's good.
all nigga news or none? Hold on, I don't understand the threat level. Where we at, Red? Hold on, what's the threat?
No, it's gonna be topics. It's just gonna be mad
Nigga
blank
news,
spaces.
nigga news. Oh, I was about to say that's a lot, man. Please, I'd rather the blank space. That's fine.
It's gonna be blank.
all right, that's cool.
Oh man.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna send you next week's topics after this is done. Today, you about to get them shits.
Come on, man.
Oh man. Y'all saw the pastor lock everybody in the church?
That was bad funny.
I did not see
40K?
that.
It's like y'all niggas ain't leaving till I get about 40,000.
He said, he told everybody lock the doors.
Lock the
We not
fucking
leaving
doors.
to raise 40,000.
Kidnapping.
Lock them fucking doors and pass the collection plate.
Nah, it's kidnapping. He's going back. Everybody going back.
Did he raise the 40K?
Deacons and all that. Paul.
It's like,
Hell
I
no.
don't know nothing
Y'all ain't
about
got
this.
no
You ain't know about this?
Nah,
Oh,
I don't.
he's
I don't usually
down.
keep up with news from the
And
congregation.
that's Evan, so he definitely going.
It's like, this like, nigga, how the fuck
You know what I'm
you from
saying?
the church broke? Man, pass the collection plate.
Yo, they got an ATM in the front of them shits now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ain't no escaping it, son. Pass that paper.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's a fucking Cash App QR code on the bottom of the collection plate.
Yeah.
And he told, I guess, like the pastors, like other people, he goes, no, y'all don't give 20. Y'all got to give at least 100.
Yeah.
Damn.
He was up there wilding.
How would it? Think about how many niggas is this? Is a mega church, nigga, for
Yeah.
40,000 cash in one day right now with y'all niggas in here. That got to be a lot of niggas in there.
Yeah.
It says he had 1,000 churchgoers at the time. He asked all of them to drop a quote unquote seed of $20. So that would have been 20,000. He also asked or demanded that online visitors prove that they donated virtually.
Damn. Gorilla pimp.
He's going crazy.
And he told the church workers to close the doors on 1,000 members.
Yo,
Yeah,
what's
ain't that
so
kidnapping
crazy?
though, right?
Yeah.
You can't forcefully keep a nigga in.
What's so crazy is like
is.
these churches are like insane. Like when you look at the Joel Osteen shits or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how people don't understand what's happening. You go to church and the nigga says to you, well, I have all of this shit because God blessed me. So if you want God to bless you too,
Pay me.
give me some money and then he's gonna bless you the same way I was blessed because
Well-
all this shit fell out of the sky.
Well, you're supposed to tithe. There's a such thing as tithes. So
Tithings.
Yeah, so okay, bet. So where's the bread going? Because the way I understand it, tithing is supposed to go to the church, and the church is supposed to be like a utility or like of utility for the community. All that money comes in so that it could help and build things and empower the community. The community ain't that one nigga with the Rolls Royce and the airport in the back of his
he gets a
crib and all
piece.
that other
The pastor does get a piece of
But-
the tithing.
But
You do have to pay him.
99% is a crazy piece.
I don't think that's what they're getting, but
Yeah,
I
it's
understand
funny
the
because
joke.
I was literally having this conversation with my girl because I was like, it's hard to put like a salary cap or whatever on that profession,
Yeah.
on that job. Like nobody can tell you, well, this is what your job is worth. And like they're technically doing a job that's important, spiritual well-being and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So how can we say like, oh no, a pastor should only make this much? Like you'd have to decide what that is. If everything with the church is taken care of, right? And I'm not a church goer. I don't tithe. I don't donate money. So take it with a grain of salt. But
That doesn't make sense.
I'm a heathen.
what you mean that doesn't make sense? If everything in the church is taken care of, right? Everything's there. They have the resources that's needed for the community, all that stuff. And his salary is $450,000, whatever it is.
Hold on.
Who says
that?
Wait.
Well, how can you?
Wait.
How much should a pastor get paid?
First of all,
450
if you're
crazy, my
first of
nigga.
all,
Well, I just came up
if
with that.
you're-
But how much
first
should a
of all-
pastor get
$500,000
paid?
for
First
the
of all,
year,
if
though?
you're
How much does the doctor get paid?
if you're
Not a doctor.
subscribing,
Stop.
if you're subscribing to what you're preaching,
It's close.
hold on.
Theology.
If you're
close.
subscribing to what you're preaching,
just-
he actually shouldn't be making that much money at all because Jesus didn't really fuck with rich niggas and all that other shit, right? That's
not
one.
necessarily true.
'Cause you're- what do you mean? Like he literally quoted that like it's not cool to be rich and hoard resources.
That's what he
and all that.
quoted. Jesus said it's not cool to be
That's
rich.
not what he's saying word for word, and I understand it's funny to joke about whatever.
No, because you can find
but
stuff in
didn't
the
really
Bible.
fuck
He
with it.
says that
But-
everybody is inherited to wealth and riches. It's not like you can find anything in the Bible to mix and match.
No, that's not what he said.
100%.
And he also said that it was like rich niggas it's not going to be easy for them to get into heaven and so all this other shit, right? So
He's
all
never
I'm
had a
saying,
problem with
and
rich
then
people.
what he's
think
saying
so?
And don't
Shout
he
out
say
to
God
Juwan.
blessing all the trap niggas in there?
Yeah,
At one point,
word.
I remember him saying
That's the
that.
YN Bible.
Father
Yeah.
blesses the trap.
That's the Bible I
I
subscribe
remember him
to.
saying that at one time.
Word up. What were you
The
saying?
YN Bible. There's a couple of different Psalms. Joanne pulls some up for me. One of them, he starts with Matthew 19, 23 through 24. Truly, I tell you, it is hard for someone who is rich to enter the kingdom of heaven. Again, I tell you, it is easier for a camel to go through an eye of a needle than for someone who is rich to enter the kingdom of God. That's the difficulty of
But
the rich
it
entering.
has
Say that.
nothing
Right,
to
right.
do.
So hold
it has
on.
nothing to do
No,
with.
no, no.
Now,
It has
now hold
nothing
on.
to do with
Keep going,
it
Mark.
being
That's
rich.
fine.
Keep going, Mark.
Because I also said you can look up anything in the Bible, so now we can find something that support being rich.
Okay, yeah, let's find something in the Bible that supports being rich.
Yeah, because God gives.
A rich man lives in luxury while a poor beggar Lazarus suffers. When both die, Lazarus is comforted in heaven, but the rich man suffers in torment. The lesson: wealth is not evil, but neglecting the poor and living selfishly has eternal consequences. So,
Okay, so
Hold
now,
on.
so you can be wealthy.
You just ain't gonna be
so
comfortable.
now,
when you
what I'm
die.
saying is, now, if we're saying that the pastor is taking enough to live comfortably so he could preach to people, that's fine, right?
But that don't cost
everything
But we
in the
can't
church.
put a salary
Hold on.
cap on it. You can't.
cost
Wait,
$450.
but can
Why
I,
not?
Darnell, can I finish?
Why not?
Can I finish my point and then you can say whatever you want?
Go ahead.
What I'm saying is, at the end of the day, everything that people are putting money into is community. The fact that one man gets to dictate how the money is spent and where it goes, and niggas is flying to fucking Paris to go to Louis Vuitton and all this other shit, while the churchgoers might possibly not be living in whatever circumstance, right? Now, if everybody in the church is rich, nigga, do whatever the fuck you want.
But they're not.
But they're not.
The most
Right?
active churchgoers is the brokest niggas. Fact.
So
real-
now,
not necessarily
so
true,
now,
but
if everybody in that church has some type of healthcare package through the church, fire. If everybody
They
in that
don't,
church,
which they don't.
They don't. If everybody in that church somehow is some type of owner in the church conglomerate or whatever stocks the church has or whatever assets the church has,
They not.
and they sharing that, awesome. But you know what's fucking happening? It's not. The fucking pastor has jets, they have Rolls Royces, they have cars, they have land, and they have all that other shit. They have riches that technically don't belong to them, but belongs to the church. They avoid taxes, they do this dance where it's their shit, but it's not really their shit. And then the churchgoers get what? Dog, it's a fucking scam.
Hey.
We're selling you good vibes.
Hey.
No, I don't
This
agree.
nigga's
I don't
atheist, by
agree
the
with
way.
that at all.
Alright.
Hold
I
on,
don't
hold
agree
on,
with
hold
that.
on, hold on.
Let's not
agree.
fuck out of here.
100%.
But listen,
But the nigga is spitting a little.
Niggas
Oh, no,
spitting
I don't-
laws.
I don't
there
agree
is
with
truth
this.
Darren,
to
let me
it,
get one of them shits. It's more.
right?
little bit.
More.
But what
Yeah.
you're saying, right? There's corruption in everything,
Yeah.
It's a fact.
right? So there are corrupt people doing that. But now we can't deny that there's several people that church has saved their lives,
100%.
right?
100%.
A lot.
Now you go to a doctor saves your life. How much does the doctor
What's
make?
going on, Derek?
I get you.
You can't put a
frozen
cap on
shit?
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
I
how
agree.
come there's that
But
gray area where you can.
they actually do put a cap on what the doctor makes, though.
No, he's
The
saying
insurance company
Who
does.
cap-
doctors
caps what a
can
doctor
make-
Right.
They do.
They can make
When you
salary
go
cap
to
on
the
doctor
hospital, the insurance has exact cost for how much the surgery is, and there's a cost allotted to the surgeon. So there is a set price. So what the fuck are we talking
What
about?
we talking about? How many surgeries can you do in a year? What are you talking about? There's no cap.
Okay.
What the fuck are you talking about? You're so smart, you're dumb.
Wait,
You're stupid, nigga. nigga.
But he right though.
He's stupid though.
He right.
You don't put a cap on the doctor. The doctor can do as many surgeries as he can possibly
The insurance company
What are you
pays the
talking
surgeon.
about? You sound stupid.
Who pays the pastor?
Hold on, admit that
Who
part.
pays the pastor?
stupid.
Who pays the pastor?
You sound stupid.
Admit that
Okay,
part,
bet.
though.
I
What?
sound stupid. Who pays the pastor?
insurance
The people,
covers
right?
up to this.
So the people
But that's
should
not
put
a
the
cap
cap.
on what he makes. That's a cap on one thing. How much can he do for the year?
How many hearts he gonna do in a day?
How many hearts can he do for the year?
I don't know.
That's a
Probably
fact.
It's a
Exactly.
finite,
What are we
it's a
talking
finite
about?
number of hearts you can do in a year.
Yes or no?
Agree or disagree?
No, it's not.
But whatever it is,
I'm
what's
I'm
the
answering your
cap?
question.
Hold on.
What's the cap?
It's
many
a
he working
finite
on?
number.
What's the cap?
However much it fucking costs to do the heart surgery.
So what are you talking about?
is
There's
the-
no fucking cap on what he
And the
makes.
insurance
Yeah.
company
You don't know what you're
sets the
talking
cap.
about.
Yes, I
You
do.
stupid.
Nah.
Calling me stupid a bunch of times doesn't negate shit.
Stupid.
So
Nah,
the insurance
what you're
company,
talking about.
the insurance
Nah, nigga,
company
point.
pays
Nah.
pays
You don't know
the
what you're
doctor,
talking
and they
about.
set the
Look that
cap.
up.
Dog,
Right?
you got a point.
What you
And
need
they
to
set
look
the
up?
cap.
If he do 42
So
hearts in
what
a
you're
year,
talking
The people who go to
It's-
church
that's what Red
pay
said.
his fucking
No,
salary,
Red
so
said.
they should
But it
also
don't
set the
say-
cap.
That's what Red
it
said.
don't say how
So they
many
should
he
set the
can
cap?
do.
Yes.
That's what
It's
Red
how
said.
many
But
he
here's
is
the thing.
capable of
So
doing.
there's
That's the
number.
difference.
There's a limit.
It's not a limit.
There are checks
There is a
and
limit.
balances to the
Oh,
fucking
you
surgeon,
yelling at
and there are
him.
no.
You yelling
My
at
bad.
him.
It's
Yell at him too, nigga.
out of a habit,
Yell
my
at him too.
No respect. It's just a bad habit, my nigga.
Yell at him too, nigga.
See, I ain't yelling.
Scream on
There's
this.
the
Go
cap,
ahead, Reg.
and there's oversight in what the surgeon's doing. There's almost no oversight in the pastor.
Scream on
That's
him.
not true. That's now that I can't agree with that.
No, there's almost no oversight.
well,
in
hold
the
up,
nonprofit.
turn it down just a little
All
bit.
right.
Hold on,
Yeah.
what was
You gotta
that?
let
I'm
it
bringing it down a
Go
notch.
Hold on.
Turn it down a
What-
little bit.
I ain't hear that part. I ain't hear that part.
And there's no oversight in the pastor. It's a 501c3. It's very rare
So this
that
is
niggas
why
is going
this
over
is
that.
why
Go
that's
ahead.
not completely true.
It's mad true.
Churches
just
aren't. Yeah.
Audibly turning
Yeah.
it down. That's-
Churches
That was
aren't.
fire.
Churches
I
aren't
had to.
controlled by just one
No, he
person.
did like this.
It's the
Yeah.
Ramadan.
Churches aren't controlled by just one person. There's usually a board, and
Alright.
so people do approve how much a pastor gets paid. No, that's a Catholicism.
Catholicism.
It's a little bit different. We're talking more so black churches because Marvin
Baptist.
Sapp is the head of a black church. But usually you do have a board, and they do have input as to how much you get
Who
paid.
starts
Hold
the
on,
church?
hold on, my
Let him talk.
Jeez.
My bad.
Usually
I'm
pastors get a percentage of the tithes, and then there's a percentage that might go to charity, a percentage that goes to the development of the community and even the rebuilding or renovation of the church. But this is all percentages. Now, a pastor in a super church such as Marvin Sapp, someone who has a congregation of 1,000 people at that one time, he's going to probably get paid far more than a pastor in maybe a church right here in Newark who maybe only have a couple hundred. In my last job, there's a guy who I refer to as Pastor Tony, because he is a pastor, but he also worked with me full time.
Yeah.
That's because his congregation usually ranged from 50 to 75 people. He didn't make enough money that he couldn't work a full-time job,
Yeah.
right?
Most pastors I know.
That he had to
like
have a full-time
Yeah.
job.
And
And shout
I'm
out
not
to
saying
Pastor
all
Tony.
pastors.
Huh?
I'm not saying all pastors are good. I'm talking
Yeah.
about super churches specifically and some of
So,
those other things.
so they earn
There
a
are
lot
people
more.
who do it. There are people who
Go ahead.
do it honorably. I'm not attacking all churches.
Yeah.
There are people
That's
who
all
do
I'm
it
saying.
with integrity as well.
Yeah, we can't make the blanket statement.
Yeah, I'm not
but
making a blanket
much like a business, there's Nike and then there's everybody else. So the CEO of Nike is going to get paid
But
far more.
But let's be honest. This is
Go
a
ahead.
nonprofit organization. Number one.
It is.
And number two, you have a religious affiliation, and then
Mm-hmm.
that whole idea of it, the connotation, people are showing up,
Yeah.
and they're not showing up looking at you as a fucking CEO.
They're not.
They're looking at you as a spiritual leader.
But here's
so
what-
when
go ahead.
you take the money and you're misleading them, because now we're going to do this dance, where it's like, nah, but it's a business.
So that part is subjective, Reg, because what they get from
All right, you're
that
right.
spiritual leader, you're deeming as to be nothing.
Right.
I didn't say it's nothing. I say you're selling good vibes.
How can you put?
So maybe that good
put a
vibe
price
saved
on
somebody's
it.
life.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie.
You know what I mean?
Fucked you up, son.
Not at all.
Fuck
Like
you
I
up.
said,
Yo,
this
but here's
is
the thing though. Good vibes are priceless.
yeah. That good vibe might have saved somebody's
Nah,
life.
nigga, spin.
And I'm gonna say this. Hold up.
Hold on, you
Everything,
can't put a dollar on
everything,
it.
You can't go
yes,
to
you
the
can.
store
No, you
and buy
can't.
good vibes
Everything,
if
Where
you
you
want
get
it.
them at?
everything has an intrinsic value. It's
Thank you for watching. If you made it this far, please like, comment, and subscribe. For more content, click over here. And most importantly, sign up for our Patreon. We need the money. Reg, stop lying.